Namaste to you, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Lall Show that comes your way listen every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM, and a rebroadcast of all three programs on Sundays at 11, 4 p.m., and 7 p.m. This evening, Mr. Lall will make his presentation, after which we will take your calls and read your messages. So without further ado, Mr. Lall, namaste to you, and the floor is yours.
Namaste, Josh. Namaste, guys. Miss Harris, you believe in zombie?
Sometimes.
Zombie doesn't exist, man.
Believe in bad,
A laborer built and broke up all the window of one of the villagers' house. They called the police. He was charged and placed before the court. Magistrate asked him why he broke up the window. He explained, tell the magistrate that zombie tell him to do that.
Oh my.
The zombie was on him. Tell him to break up the window. The magistrate sent him to jail for a month, and he promised to fix back. When he come out, work and fix back all the windows. So him and the zombie. Yeah, you're right. The magistrate sent him and the zombie to jail for a month, hoping that he can differentiate between himself and the zombie. I see, Miss Harris, I see people pulling down the face mask from the nose. Mm-hmm. Guys, please don't do that. It's very dangerous because you can breathe in the virus through your nose. And for me, that is more dangerous because all the air goes directly to the lungs. So you don't want to go home leaving us breathing disease or this COVID through your nose. Stay safe and stay healthy. Miss Harris?
Yes, sir.
Namaste. Guyana? Namaste. Guyanese? All of you who are listening right across this world, namaste to each and every one of you. In December 2018, Bharat Jagdeo, then opposition leader, had these words to say, and I quote him: "Our incompetent government trudged in. Our incompetent government trudged in there unprepared and stuck us with a contract that would harm us for decades into the future. They sold our patrimony." Guyana, those were his words in 2018 to not only the coalition government, but to all Guyana. What he did since he went into office, has he corrected anything? Has he held a press conference to talk to Guyana and to talk to us about what is going on? Good night. I glanced at the news this morning and found out that the Turkish government helped Azerbaijan to build an international airport in one of their cities with an overall size of 60,000 square meters. It carries 8 bridges. The terminal can handle 200 passengers in an hour. 2 runaway, 10,000 feet long and 200 feet wide, that can land any size of plane. This airport has every section you can think of that an airport has to have. You have to see this thing, how beautiful it is. Everything is modern. It has already achieved international standard. Miss Harris, it is equipped with automatic systems and has a brand new control tower in compliance with international civil aviation and transportation standards.
Yep.
This airport was completed in 8 months and cost 39.5 million American dollars. Let me repeat that for you guys. This airport finished in 8 months and cost 39.5 million US dollar.
Wow.
Now, that's what you call an airport with efficiency and cost. Let me bring you, Uncle, to Guyana and our airport. Our airport is now going on 8 years. We have already spent 170 million American dollars. It doesn't have a cargo section, no roads, no car park, no additional towers but the old one, no office spaces, 2 bridges, little space to handle 1 flight at a time. They have latrines for toilets, Uncle. Yes, latrines, not toilets. Because the toilets you have there doesn't flush. And if it do flush, it runs over.
Wow.
This is we bright leaders in Guyana. What you say there, Miss Harris? And all this began with a PPP. Then it was taken over by the AFC, PNC. And now back in the PPP hands. And the merry-go-round continues. The circus continues with these clowns. And here were we, Minister, Tene Jill, proud to tell Guyanese it encompassed 200 million American dollars.
Wow.
Yes, these are your leaders of Guyana. You all must go and see it for yourself. It's a set of patch-up work. The PPP, the APNU, and the KFC, all 3 of them, paying 200 million US dollar and calling it a brand new international airport. I said this, the scanner broke down just the other day. I don't know if that airport will ever meet international standard. Oh, Guyana, you need to help me, you know. I need this help, Guyana. Every day is a new contract going out to do this and to do that. What was supposed to be done by the Chinese contractor on the airport to give us a brand new airport, we still renovating and still patching. What a mess these leaders have us in. It makes me want to vomit whenever I remember CJIA. Not when I pass through it, but when I hear the name of an airport. That's how I remember to bring up back this airport story with you guys tonight. And now the Chinese saying they want till 2022 to finish the project. You people will be flying through mess. Just Google it. Azerbaijan spent 40 million US dollar for a brand new sophisticated airport. Done it in 8 months with every single thing. And we 8 years now, we still renovating. We own. Yes, our renovation. Changing some walls, adding some walls, changing some zinc sheets, with a few other fine things. We spent $170 million. And we ministers say it will go past 200 million.
Wow.
and all jackman in this country quiet. That money, let me remind you guys, Lall can build 3 brand new airports in all 3 the counties and become a millionaire. David Patterson came till to my office and defending the airport project, telling us that the Chinese threw 1 million truckload sand, Glenn. And you know how much a truckload sand? $7,000. At the time when he tell me that, Guyana, you could get a truckload sand from Timeri right next to the airport, 2 minutes away from the airport, till to Guyana for $7,000. This is how they're spending 170 million US dollar. These clowns. When I invited him to have a private conversation in my office because I didn't want to use language to him in front of my staff, he didn't come up to my office. He left quietly. I did tell him, Yala is past this nation, loud and bold in front of my staff. And I didn't say it that way. If you think that is how I said it, I didn't. I used some nice words to describe what they're doing to this country. Uncle, when the airport was initiated, President Jagdeo tell the nation how the new airport gonna be a hub for Africa. He had Roops and Ben walking around singing that same nonsense like a clown. Yeah, man, we gonna hub. We gonna become a hub. Hubbing, all of you. Some people still asking me, Glenn, all them things you talking is true? Uncle, some intelligent people asking that also. I myself don't want to believe my own self. I say almost every day when we discuss the news for the next day in this newspaper, no man, no. This is a dream. Lall, you're sleeping. This is not what is going on in this country. Every day I said that. 40 million US for Edgil, nah money. But we run an international bank to borrow 1 million and 1.5 million US, paying interest. It is sad what's happening in this land. Let's move on, Uncle. I was very happy to see so many people turn up at the Humanayana for that 4th public consultation on the Yellowtail project. I am happy that you guys are waking up to the reality. I am told today Exxon and the EPA went to Anna Regina and they also had a massive group of people that turn up. I will try to get back the information that transpired today and talk a little about it on Friday. You guys remember I mentioned to you Monday how we are giving 10 days to analyze and study 7,400 pages of technical data? Yes, for a public consultation with Exxon and the EPA. 10 days I gave you. We carried a story, Uncle, yesterday in which several oil experts said that Guyana is at disadvantaged position. What Exxon is doing to us, Uncle, the expert says it is impractical and impossible for Guyanese to have a proper public review or scrutiny with such a limited time frame. Not Lall saying this. I know I could not read 7,400 pages in 10 months, much as 10 days. Even ExxonMobil itself, the experts say, can't read 7,400 pages in 10 days. And it is not ordinary reading, uncle. It's not a fun book or newspaper pages, but with technical data. The expert says this will give engineers and technical people a hard time to read and comprehend that amount of data maybe in a year. And this, they want me and you, uncle, to read in 10 days, to partake in a public discussion. It's like giving a 5-year-old child an Oxford dictionary to study in 10 days for a discussion. That's what they're doing to us. Uncle, some of the oil experts say this project should be put on hold so that proper evaluation can be done and the country would have a greater timeline to develop its monitoring capacity. That's what I believe and that's what I say. I fully agree with those experts, and every Guyanese should also agree with them. While the experts are calling on Guyana to put this project on a hold, to get our acts together so that we can properly monitor and put systems in place, uncle, to benefit all of us. ExxonMobil and the other oil players are calling for Guyana to give them the go-ahead. They want Guyana to greenlight the project, uncle. Yes. Hear the fancy language Exxon and the rest of them using to justify why Guyana should give them the go-ahead overnight with this project. I got to read it, uncle. I have to read this thing for y'all. How sweet it is. How convincing they think they will come over to Guyana. And how deceitful they put it over to Alawi. Exxon and partners said in a statement, and I read, please listen. In particular, without the project's revenue sharing with the government of Guyana, the associated potential for benefits to socio-economic resources would be reduced and gross domestic product, GDP growth, through associated fiscal revenue will be affected. My God, uncle and auntie, these people believe that we does only speak patois and we only know patois. We only understand and only them understand English. Only them alone. And them alone understand business. Those words, uncle, I don't want to read it back. Or do you think I should? Should I read it back? Let me take a moment and read it back. In particular, without the project revenue sharing with the government of Guyana, the associated potential for benefits to socio-economic resources would be reduced and gross domestic product, GDP growth, through associated fiscal revenue would be affected. Hear it? Those words, uncle, simply means without getting this fourth project, our money, Guyana money, will be reduced, will be affected. The GDP will not grow, meaning your pocket ain't going to grow. That is what they are trying to tell us. Yes, the 2% will grow we pocket. What they plan to give us in that fourth project. So we must give them they go ahead to do it so that we can benefit. Them left out the part about how rich they will get from this fourth project. We can get 4 billion per year, and them will walk away with 196 billion American dollars every year from that project. That is what you call a fair deal. 4 billion to 196 billion. I want to tell the oil people in a very bold and disrespectful manner. Y'all very, very disrespectful. And y'all is past the people of this country, including Glenn Lall. Uncle, the PNC, the AFC, and the PPPC don't want to see and don't want to stop this type of insult and lack of respect to this nation. Let me ask this man, is how much more y'all want to know? How much more you guys want to see? How much more you guys need to read what these people doing to all of us? I would have to take a drink. I have to take a drink after this program. Ms. Harris, can you give me some water for now?
Sure.
And don't give me GWI water. The people in Canal Number 2 begged me to come and see the condition and color of the water that is flowing through their pipes. One man sent me a photograph to show me what come out on his foot and his skin from bathing with the water, Mr. Sheikh Baksh. Miss Harris, hear more of what the oil people say in them statement. I read again, Uncle. The Natural Resource Fund would be deprived of these revenues for sustainable development of the country and initiatives aimed at achieving the government's vision of an inclusive green economy.
Wow.
Yes, would likely be reduced. Them telling us with those fancy words that the bank account we have in America holding the little couscous money from the oil would not be getting any more couscous money if this project doesn't kick off, Uncle. And how it will affect the development of your country. Yes, Miss Harris. You got to love these oil people. Them know how to play this con game with fancy languages.
You're the best.
I bet you, Miss Harris, those exact words that I just read there, Jagdeo and Harman them will throw back at Guyana and say how Guyana can't develop if we not allow the fourth project to go ahead. How much you betting? We can't patch no more roads or build any streets. We can't clean our drains. We can't pick up the garbage. We can't handle the crime. We can't increase salaries. You can't increase pension packages. You can't get out you can't get any more of that one time 19,000 and a one time 25,000 a year. You're going to be affected by this fourth project. How much money are you betting, Mama? You're going to hear all these words from them. I will play it for y'all when them use those words. Because I love this country. I love all of you. And I love the oil people and our leaders too. Exxon them talking to the leaders. Them got to be talking to the leaders. Because they are corrupt, incompetent, and is a set of clowns. Not me and you, uncle and auntie. me and you reading through, and we seeing through under them skirts and them pants what they plan to doing to us with our resources. The people say also, if we don't get that couscous money, uncle, we can't generate green energy, clean electricity. That money gonna give away the clean energy with solar and wind power generation. So I don't know what Mr. VP and Winston Brasington and Harman with Patterson gonna do with the gas to shore and the Amelia Falls project. That must come on stream to generate different type of electricity. Maybe for bright up the skies instead of Guyana. Wow. Or bright up them Pradoville. Man, uncle and auntie, I got to continue reading this flowery statement the oil people them put out defending their position on why Guyana should grant this fourth project overnight. Man, a word so sweet, so sexy. If I was a lady, I would have taken off my clothes on the chair for them, reading how sweet they're coming over. Them say that they are of the view that Guyana desperately needs the project, since the government of Guyana would be able to take advantage of the project revenues to fulfill its objectives, to create more job opportunities, address poverty, and improve the overall quality of life. Oh boy, you hear those words?
Very nice.
The 2% gonna address poverty, create jobs, and make we rich overnight. You got to love these people with their fancy language, man. Aye. Man, this 2% and profit, which is less than 11% total take from this oil contract, doing a lot for Guyanans people. Yeah, Ms. Harris?
The percent is working like the 98%.
Yes. Suriname gets 62.25%. And the last Isle Block carried to 84.25%. Brazil 56%. Colombia 72%, Venezuela 71%, and we get 11%. It's so sad that this day and age, these foreigners believe that we brown, black, and yellow people stupid so much that we fall for these sweet talks, these propped up Nancy stories to make it sound as if Guyana and its people will be looking like heaven. You know, Auntie, I remember during slavery, the white man used to carry copper and fool the Africans and tell them it's gold. They used to shine black stone and give it a color and tell them it's diamonds. Capture and enslave them. Today, uncle, they are not using copper and black stones to capture us or to fool us. They're using flowery language with sweet words like revenue growth and associated fiscal revenue, GDP growth. Like if we stupid, we dotish, we gonna fall for that. To entrap us, then enslave us. But not slavery like long ago talking about uncle, when they used to chain you and put you to work in the fields. This type of slavery, uncle, They are enslaving us financially. Enslaving us with the tomfoolery of public consultations and making we believe that we are in the best position of life. Yes. So that we will benefit. Yes. Stealing our resources, giving us next to nothing, and making us feel as if they are our saviors. Without them, you can't eat, uncle. Without them, you can't develop, auntie. Without them, you don't have a country, auntie. And they want us to buy that. The old slave masters take away the Africans' freedom. Now these slave masters want to take away we freedom plus we future. Now they're enslaving we with this fancy word, sanctity of contract, and have our leaders who they compromise using it. Sanctity of contract. It's signed in stone. It's set in stone. It's signed in blood. Contract can't change. Guyana would be able to take advantage, uncle. We would be able to take advantage of this project revenues to fulfill its objectives, to create more job opportunities, address poverty, and improve overall quality of life if we put a hold on this project and build the capacity, put systems in place to benefit us, not them. But uncle, when I read those words, I conclude that statement can only come from two sets of people. Corrupt politicians who are looking out for themselves and their families, or international conmen who are ready to take you down at any cost, who are ready to rip your clothes off your back to do your stuff. You know what stuff I'm talking about. Joshua, you didn't give me the water. Not GWI water I want. I want diamond water. Thank you. I love it. Auntie, they went a little further to warm away in the statement. You hear that? That if yellowtail is prevented, opportunities to boost economic growth through increased foreign direct investment in supporting goods and services in the time leading up to the oil production would be reduced. Man, this thing is so fancy to read it. I find it difficult to read it. Let me read it back. The statement says, if yellowtail is prevented, opportunities to boost economic growth through increased foreign direct investment in supporting goods and services in the time leading up to the oil production would be reduced. Would be reduced. Well, let it be reduced. Because we ain't getting nothing anyway. What I'm telling you there, uncle, if the project is prevented, your country will not grow. And how foreign direct investors coming to support the goods and services will no longer be interested in investing in Guyana. That's what they're saying. It's like a little threat. What that mean? Does that mean anything to you, Josh? Huh?
No.
We don't need them to come and invest.
Exactly.
If we can get a fair share of our wealth, then we don't need them to come here and invest. And in any case, they are not investing anything, ExxonMobil.
No,
You guys did not invest anything in Guyana.
exactly. We invest.
You guys took our oil blocks to the International Bank and collected all those loans on behalf of Guyana's oil block. And we are responsible for the oil, for that loans, not ExxonMobil. Our oil is paying everything on those loans. So don't tell us about investors and investments, ExxonMobil. Don't bring that crap to us. We've been living without Exxon and these oil people for generations, and we can still live a good life without them going forward. We need our fair share, uncle. And 50% royalty is reasonable.
Very.
We don't need no 50-50 sharing, profit sharing. Let Exxon take that and push it where Pali put it not. 50% royalty, and let them take everything else. Let them keep all the jobs and all the supply centers for themselves. They can make money with that too. Give me my 50% royalty. That's our smart businessman or any market vendor would accept. Royalty, 50% royalty. A matter of fact, I was told to wear another 50% jersey today. So I'm having on that. That says demand 50% royalty from our resources. Guys, royalty comes with no cost whatsoever. If they bring up 100 barrel, give me 50 barrel and you take your 50 and take all the profit, whatever you make. Spend what you want to spend, do what you want to do. Go take loan by yourself and do what you got to do. Give me 50 barrel oil every day and me good to go.
Yeah.
That's how simple it is. Who doesn't want a business like that, man? You don't want profit. You don't want to hear about inflated bills. You don't want to hear what they're going to push in here, how they're going to can you there, how much they're paying for pipes, how much they're paying for field development plan projects and stuff like that. You don't need them kind of headache. You need your 50 barrel if they bring up 100 and you good to go.
Precisely.
Thank you.
That's all.
Joshua,
Yeah.
hear how they end them statement to Guyana. That same statement, I ain't done read it. Them say, if the unforeseen event that circumstances arose that warranted stopping the project mid-development due to government's disapproval, they said that they would abandon the project infrastructure in an appropriate manner. Consistent with the concepts laid out in the preliminary end of project decommissioning plan. My gosh.
What is that?
You know, you read these things, and if you really didn't go to school,
So true.
man, you're in trouble. But what on earth is a preliminary end of project decommissioning plan? I have to get some information on that and get back to your uncle and auntie. I really don't know. But what is important is what they said there in the other lines. If they don't get approval from the government, they have no problem stopping the project. I love that part. You hear that, uncle? This is where, and this is what I have been talking about since I started this program. We could have stopped Payara to get a huge change, to put big money in the pockets. But the vice president give them overnight without asking a single question or correcting anything inside that Payara project. Now, we have this fourth project. We can put a hold on. After all, the people said I don't have a problem putting a hold on it so that we can correct ourselves. Joshua, you got any idea how much Guyana can rake in from now on with every project if we put a hold on them? Yes. The first thing we can do, Uncle, is check and verify properly them more than 9 billion US field development plan cost. We can demand, we can get full insurance, we can hire experts to help us correct everything that went wrong in Liza 1, 2, and 3, the Payara projects. We can take our time, Uncle and Auntie, and remedy so many things, like putting the ring fencing provision in place, a decommissioning policy, fix our local content properly, fix the flaring, fix the dumping of the produced water to international standards. We can dent their bank books and wring their pockets, Uncle, because they are in a rush to take all the oil overnight with a sweetheart contract. Yes, the Sunsteady contract. Uncle, if we only breaks them up now with this 4th Yellowtail project, you know how rich this country can begin to get overnight? We don't have to live on borrow money to eat and pay salaries. We don't have to borrow money to build highways and infrastructure. All the money to make Guyana into a Dubai overnight begins with this project, Uncle. Yes, now I'm talking about. Breaks it up. And you will see how they will buckle. Our leaders have the testicular apparatus to do it, Auntie. Let us wait and let us see. Over to you, Mr. Ali, and Mr. Jagdeo, Mr. Harmon, and Mr. Ramjatan. What do you think they will do, Miss Harris?
We know.
You think they're going to put a hole on it? And the reason I ask this question, Uncle, is because of their silence and sneakiness in everything they do in this oil sector. You have been raped and robbed 3 times with Liza 1, Liza 2, and Liza 3. Are you going to demand a review for the 4th project? Where are your voices, man? I want to hear you guys. Are you going to allow them with a 4th project to be raped and robbed for the 4th time, man?
No way.
Thank you, man. I was hoping to hear somebody's voice. Vice President Jagdeo had promised to release the production report. How much oil am I bring up every day, Uncle? So that every one of us can see how much oil they're pumping. Mr. Jagdeo promised to release the Payara Field Development 9 billion US report. For all of us to see. Almost a year done. And Guyana is with its eyes and hands wide open, still waiting to see that report. Are you hearing me, Josh?
Where's the report?
He and President Ali promised to be open and transparent in the oil sector. I am ashamed to play back their words of promise. I'm too ashamed. I played it so many times. You guys heard it before, man. How we going to be transparent? Oh, we will not hide anything from the nation. This is Jagdev promise. Jagdev promised to make the local content reports for the oil companies public. The oil company just hand you a bill, 500 million, with no explanation. And now, we can't get non-local content report. He promised to use the right technology, uncle, offshore, to monitor the measurement of our oil remotely. Where is it, uncle? He promised to design a roadmap to use a portion of the oil money to build sustainable industries. We are here nothing until now. He said he's going to outline, he will outline a benchmark for corporate social responsibility. Where are they? Where are they? He said he's going to establish and put in place a decommissioning and a depletion policy. Tomorrow we are carrying a story, we discuss it, that the local content policy, the draft document, will meet Parliament till in December. And this is the local content. This is not the depletion policy, you know, Ms. Harris, or the decommissioning policy. This is just a local content policy. The draft document will meet Parliament by December. He promised, uncle, to outline a structure for what is to be expected in field development plans. We can get another field development plan if he okayed his fourth project with 9 billion US. Where is that structure? He promised to strengthen key auditing agencies, especially the Office of the Auditor General, uncle. Yes. To strengthen institutions that will be responsible for spending the oil money, including the Ministry of Finance, the Ministry of Public Infrastructure, and the Ministry of Health. Did he strengthen anything so far? Nothing. He promised to improve Guyana's capacity to monitor and record emissions offshore, particularly in the case of EPA. EPA don't got nobody answer now. I don't think. As a matter of fact, I think they cut EPA budget this year. The most important agency. Right? He promised to provide funds to the EPA so that they can make unannounced visits to the floating ship out there while following safety standards. When you hear these people talk, uncle, you believe they are your savior. You believe they're the right people for the job. You believe that these people will make your future, man, better than when you're living in heaven. The things they're promising y'all. He promised to hire technical experts needed to the ministries of natural resources, the EPA, the Guyana Geology and Mines, the Guyana Revenue Authorities, and many others. Anybody hire so far? What a promise, man, this is, eh? This is the best man you got for this land, man.
Yeah.
He said, Uncle, he will work to improve and make public Guyana's national oil spill contingency plan. Wow. Guyana contingency oil plan. Spill plan. All you might wipe out and you mightn't even hear about a plan, much less to see any improvement.
Exactly.
He promised, Auntie, he will review the massive tax concessions and tax holidays. For example, provisions in the oil contracts that allow tax exemptions on capital gains tax, personal income tax, and withholding tax. What is he doing? Business going on as normal, as usual, and nothing has been done. As a matter of fact, more concessions are being granted, and here review it. Oh my. He promised to work towards updating policies, laws, regulations regarding direct and indirect transfers of interests in offshore oil blocks. Man, I gotta read back this one. He promised to work towards updating the laws regarding direct and indirect transfers of interests in offshore oil blocks. Granger and the coalition transfer the Kaieteur and the Kanji oil blocks shares in the twinkle of an eye like this. And the people that must sell it in Canada and make money. He couldn't sell here and let Guyana get taxes. The coalition the PPP gave away the oil blocks. And the PNC transfer the shares. That is what he's talking about. He said he go update it. He promised to establish a petroleum commission. The Vice President Jagdev promised to update laws and regulations to address issues of ring fencing, transfer pricing, and other financial loopholes, health and safety of workers, monitoring of the environment, and so on. All he promised, Uncle. He promised to outline a vision for the oil sector following consultation with we, the Guyanese people, the citizens. And he hiding from the press, much less we, the citizens. He outlining a vision for the oil sector following consultation with Awidis. And he hide from the press, much less from you. He said, Uncle, he will work towards strengthening and increasing systems for reporting on decisions in all the oil and gas industry. You heard that, Josh? He will increase systems for reporting on the oil and gas industry. He strengthened this by using Guyanese critic, Auntie. Yes, the Guyanese critic. A man who have zero media credentials. That's a promise, man. That's how he been running this country from since he was finance minister in 1999 and throughout his presidency on promises. I did ask you, I'll name one single thing that the vice president did, that he put his hands on, that is successful in this country under his stewardship. Nothing. Absolutely nothing he has done to uplift this country. But some people really become wealthy under him, Uncle. Super rich, Auntie. You want me to call some names? Joshua? Nah. I ain't gonna call names now. I'm not gonna call the names now. It's in the open though. These things are open secrets, uncle. In fact, I'll do a special program to list all of them. Listen out for the super wealthy gang. Jagdev just the other day been in Texas and made another promise that how he will change all the rest of the oil contracts except ExxonMobil, who own the Stabroek block with half of Guyana's oil field inside. I played this tape many times. Kaieteur and Kanji drilling, CGX drilling, and everybody else drilling, and nothing has changed until now, uncle. This change, he said, will bring about more money in we pocket. Yes, uncle, he can change it by 2050. When he become old, if he ever become an old man. When all the oil is done. That's when he gonna change these things. The coalition go in and them continue the same trend what Jagdev cultivate in this country. They did nothing despite their promises too. With the exception of one thing. One single thing. I keep talking about it all the time. Uncle David Granger, yes, he released the ExxonMobil contract. If that contract wasn't released under Uncle David, me and you, auntie and uncle, every Guyanese and generations to come would have disappeared from this earth without knowing how they left this motherland. Let me say again, thank you, President Granger. The coalition at least used to give us monthly production report. Jagdev now turn around and hiding that. Is that what else he gonna hide from my uncle? If you ain't know, let me tell you, everything he hiding from you. And this is the man Ali put to run the oil sector. He doing the Amelia Falls project, the gas to shore project, the hydro project, the Kiss Me Ass project, and hiding everything. A matter of fact, he holding a little press conference and said don't record him. Are you remember, man? Yes. He's a good looking man, eh? A good looking man to keep far from. Far from where promise and promises is concerned. Let me remind you again, let me repeat it again. In December 2018, this Vice President Bara Jagdeo, then the opposition leader, said, and I quote him, our incompetent government trudged in there, unprepared, and stuck us with a contract that would harm us for decades into the future. They sold our patrimony. They sold our patrimony. Yes, incompetent government went in there unprepared and stuck us with a contract that would harm us for decades into the future. They sold our patrimony. You have heard me tonight. What has he done? Anything better? Has he done anything to correct it but giving promises? It's an hour now I am on this show. Just let me say good night, sweet dreams, and may God bless all of you. Have a great Wednesday evening. And don't forget, Glenn Lall loves every Guyanese. Every Guyanese. We'll take a few calls there if we have time, right, Josh?
Yes, we do have time. You can call us this evening on 226-7453
I told,
and 226-7454.
while it coming in, I told one of my staff today, I tell you have to understand what's going on in this country with your wealth, girl. If you don't understand, your husband gonna bring a woman in your house and sleep with she on your bed, and he will put you to sleep under the bed with your children. She skin up, she eyes on me. Take the call. That is what ExxonMobil and the rest of the oil companies already began doing to every one of us.
Good night, sir. Welcome to
in
the
our
Glenn Lall Show.
homes, Guyana.
I got consumer with Glenn.
Yes, go ahead. Good night.
Good night to the whole panel.
Thank you.
So just recently, some people tell a fellow calling and tell us, oh, this is time to get young people in it. And you breaks you up and tell you that no, this is not young people thing. This thing is uncle and auntie. But I got one question I want to ask, and I can come out here, right?
Yes.
Most of you staff that's sitting in front of you presently is young people. So then, if you got young people employed, why is it this is not time for me to get young people active in it and get the program that young people gotta get into?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I thought you calling me for tell me something nice, man. I tell young people, I want babies to understand. Try getting them to understand. Man, I thought you call me and tell me something nice. Everybody has to understand, my friend. Yep. Let's don't make that an issue. Let's don't waste time talking about these things. Right? ExxonMobil announced boldly, they rent another $11 million day supply boat, work or no work, bringing the total to 25. And to add insult to injury, Marad, you remember Marad? I spoke about Marad. Renovating remodeling their offices for $80-something million. Wow. Marad put out a notice telling all local vessels to stay clear of Home Run P. That is the name of the new supply boat Exxon bringing. Home Run P. Them come in your home with a P for you. We are being billed $55,000 a day for these supply boats, while Suriname and Trinidad are paid $12,000. Take the calls.
Any calls coming in? No calls.
And we leaders, yes, not saying anything. You gotta love this land. Young people will understand what I'm saying there, young man.
Go ahead. We have a conversation.
Someone says here.
Have a call?
Oh, take the call.
Caller, good evening. Welcome to the Glenn Lall Show.
Yeah, good night to you and the panel.
Good night, sir. Go ahead.
This country cannot get better because the opposition and the government is too loyal to we. And even to the smaller party who come in before, we tell them will stand different from everything that you could vote for them next time to give them a chance. But everybody, the whole thing is everybody just the same. So we can't get better in this country for none time. None time, because all of them is the same thing. The smaller party came with the bigger party now, so who you vote for? The opposition is waste. The government is waste. So what we turn into?
You know, I've been hearing this thing what we turn into. But what? You chuck? You throw in your hat in the ring?
You can't
No?
chuck.
I want you to know, sir. Power lies in the hands of the people. Politicians does not have the power. Me and you have the power, brother. And once we get out there and we shut this country down, you hear me? Once we march in front of the presidency or in front of the opposition office, you will wake them up. They have to come out. They have to speak.
We have to do it together.
So,
We don't
yes,
do it
I
together.
agree. We have to do it together. We have to do it together, brother. And I fully agree with you. If we
You
left them
remember
alone,
when Jack Jordan was in power, every minute he get a press conference. Every week, 2-3 times he get a press conference when he was the opposition.
thank you. Yes, Jagdeo had more press conferences in opposition, more than the coalition government, more than AFC, right? Now he sits in the chair, cussing them. Cussing the coalition, but doing the same thing they were doing when in office. He's hiding. You know, here is only the Guyanese critic he go on.
Yeah.
Yeah. A man who doesn't know he head there, or where he right eye there from his left eye.
Yeah. We said the government know what to do better than the opposition, but all of them not glass together when they get going. So we threw them out.
My friend, don't give up hope, man. Changes will come.
Okay.
Just take your time. Let us educate the people. Let us bring them up to speed. When they understand, trust me, they themselves, when they start bite, it's already biting their belly, and biting their pockets. You know why is it for a policeman, a soldier, a nurse, a public servant, taking home a salary that can barely pay their rent and light bill?
Yeah. Barely pay the rent, sometimes they may give money for travel.
Well, they will wake up. They will wake up, my friend. They will wake up. They're going to wake up. Right? Thanks. You want to make any other input?
No, not right now, but we got to do it together, forget these things. We got to stop racism.
Yeah, just stay in touch. Stay in touch. Share the programs, enlighten your friends, your neighbors. Call on people to listen to the programs. Read the newspapers. I noticed the Starbuck News picking up 1-2 nice articles for the last couple of days. People are beginning to wake up, man. I have been trying to wake up media people. But like I said, it's a tough thing. You understand? And they are working with media houses who are pro-government and pro-opposition. Yeah. So if the owners of these media houses or the editors and editors-in-chief have a position, then they are also stifling media operatives.
This so do all the time.
Right. So this is, but honestly, some media houses, I don't think they're stifling them. It's just that they themselves doesn't understand what Guyana is facing. But slowly, like I said, this oil business will take 60, 70 years. I just told you guys a few months ago, Trinidad and Tobago, 100 years, just found out a loophole in which they were losing billions of dollars, and they plug it. As a matter of fact, they call on BP to refund the money that they stole from them. And they did. Because BP said, okay, all right, but we get catch. Pay back them. If not, hell would have break loose with the Trinidad people and the oil company. And that will happen here. That will happen here. I see people calling for protests. It's going to happen, my friend. But let's go slowly. Dear. All right? It's going to come. Changes will come. But we got to do it a little fast, because the speed in which the oil company them rushing with these projects, we don't have much time.
Yeah.
Because if we approve these projects, like if Jagdeo approved this 4 project and the opposition says nothing, I plan to ask Harman for an official comment, and Friday I'll report back to you guys, because as the opposition leader, he must state his position on it. Because this one here, I said, if this one is allowed, then
Jagdeo don't got time with the opposition leader.
If
Jagdeo don't do, shut you out with everything. He's not even the opposition leader, because he's strong like Jagdeo.
No, don't speak like that, my friend. Don't speak like that unless you call them out to hear their position. All right? Yeah. Then we can speak. Every decision, every project these oil people put out, we must be able to call them out. Well, what's your position on it? Then we can say, well, they're all lying under the same blanket in the same bed.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Smart guy. You guys heard the second FPSO arrive in Guyana? Yeah, man, it's in all the newspapers today. The Guyana Times, maybe we see the ship, proud to say that. The Chronicle, same thing. The Starbuck News announced it too. Kaieteur News put it in a small text. It come in because that doesn't mean anything to me and you. The project was approved. You got to get your 2% where you sign on to, and they're here to take it. What you need to keep in your mind and keep focusing on is the rest of the projects, and that was our headline today. That was our lead story, the Kaieteur News lead story. Yeah. Any calls? You were asking me a question there?
Go ahead, Nina.
Yeah, somebody has said, good night, Mr. Glenn. I want to know about the 50,000 jobs that President Ali promised the Guyanese people. Where are the jobs that he promised the people? Now they're beating down the oil company ExxonMobil to give them sugar workers jobs. What can cane cutters do at ExxonMobil?
Oh, the fourth project, this mega project,
Yes.
Exxon said 100 to 140 people they gonna hire.
Wow.
That's all what the fourth project can take. Miss Harris, there is no work in the oil sector for the citizens of this country.
Of the country.
And the 100 or the 140 people they're gonna take there is a sweep down and wash down the floating ship.
Yes.
They will be getting couscous money.
Yeah.
Or if you want to change couscous to crumbs, they'll be getting that.
Yep.
Tomorrow we are carrying a story in which Exxon would be dumping 35 tons of waste per day at the Eccles Hagsbosch dump site.
35,000 tons.
35,000 tons. And telling Guyana they will use the landfill for the next 10 years before building them on. Uncle, in the next 5 years, Exxon alone going to take up the whole space at the landfill. And Guyana, yes, we vice president and we opposition leader plus we president will run to the bank for another loan to build another dump site for Guyana. Yes, for we to put we garbage. Anybody got any bets on that? You can read the story tomorrow. You have more details in the story. Then we got another story going tomorrow. GRA to action a vehicle that one of the ministry buy and left on the wharf for donkey years. Man, Josh, you gotta love this country. You buy a vehicle for you ministry and you forget it on the wharf,
Wow.
and now they're putting it on action. Man, them people should not even see the prison door. Trust me. Read it in the Kaieteur News, guys.
Yep.
Any other questions you have there?
No.
Nothing else right now.
Let me give you another heads up on another story tomorrow. 88 million US decline in gold earnings, even though gold price sky high. We got sugar gone out. We got the fishing industry boiling away. We got what else? We got the rice, we agriculture melting away slowly. Now the gold dwindling, and the government said that in the half-year report. Not Glenn Lall saying this, and they're blaming COVID. Every single day, the foreign company working gold. The minister been in and see see that for himself. And them say COVID, they're blaming COVID. Everybody using COVID as an excuse. Oh, uncle, don't be surprised if you hear the oil company say COVID affecting them too. And start saying they're bringing up 2 barrels a day while they're bringing up 2 million barrels a day. Don't be surprised with that. Foreign companies, uncle and auntie, nothing stops them from working, especially when I'm getting your assets. Yeah? Especially when I'm getting your assets for free with a one-sided contract. You want to hear more, Josh?
Yeah, we could, because we have no
GWI. GWI was saving our money. The half-year report, this half-year, 2021 report, say how them owe the bank $540 million in overdraft. I love this land. I love this country.
That's their overdraft.
Taking overdraft from the bank to pay advance for them 6% manganese to filter your water.
Beautiful Guyana.
Man, this is the best country. This is the best country, Josh. Like I said, Josh, I gotta take a drink tonight. 1 drink only.
Yes.
I had a religious work last night and I had to fast for a couple of days. So I didn't get a drink, me cook the water and vodka, or eat little fish and little meat. So I gotta take an early night. But let me end by repeating this thing. I have to repeat this thing. What the Vice President said when he was in opposition. Our incompetent government trucked in there unprepared and stuck us with a contract that would harm us for decades into the future. They sold our patrimony. Sweet dreams, uncle and auntie. God bless you guys. Have a great evening. I'm taking an early evening. Have a good night.
Good night, everybody.